Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Relatively Gaming Podcast, the show where we talk some games, talk the news, what we're looking forward to, along with a fun mystery topic. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011. I'm joined by one loud-ass cat, aka Artemis, but you already knew that and didn't care. But I am also joined by my lovely co-host, TJ at Turn-Based TJ. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. It's Friday, and the Carolina Hurricanes have won 7 straight playoff games. They're
Ooh,
undefeated in the playoffs, so
nice.
I'm in a very good mood.
Nice. Who have they been kicking ass for in the second round?
The Philadelphia Flyers, they've
Ooh,
been
okay. All right.
chomping on them, so I'm hoping that it looks like they're going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then this time they're not going to drop the ball. Knock on wood.
Nice. Well, very good. Glad to hear that. I know we talked about it a few weeks ago. It was like, on that round one. But glad it's worked out and they're kicking ass so far. Hopefully they're not burning through their energy. We'll see.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
But before we jump into the news, remember, guys, if you like what you hear, hit that like button down below. Subscribe. Share it with somebody who you think would enjoy it. And if there's ever a topic of discussion that you'd like us to talk about, like a topic we're going to be doing later today, feel free to put it down in the comment section down below and we'll get to it at a future episode. We have seen the channel growth both here, TikTok, and other places, so we greatly appreciate it. We're glad you're liking it and sticking with us. But yeah, enough of the rigmarole. Let's jump into the news. TJ, what do you got news-wise for us this week?
Well, last week we had a pretty big section. I think we even had a TikTok segment about it, about Injustice 3 rumors. And that's very exciting. But would you be surprised to learn that Ed Boon confirms in an interview with Collider that a new Mortal Kombat game is in the works?
What?
Yeah, so somehow I guess they're working on both games. No details as to whether or not which one's going to come out first or which one's further along in production. I'm assuming that Injustice will come out first because they did the back-to-back Mortal Kombat games. But Ed Boon in the interview with Collider said that he cannot give any details on the Mortal Kombat game, which makes sense because I'm sure it's like years and years away. Mortal Kombat 1 just wrapped all of its DLC not too long ago, so.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see which one does come out. You mentioned the team size, if they could split it. I don't know NetherRealm's team size. Like, I feel like they're a bigger one, but it's like a bigger one in the umbrella of Warner Brothers type of thing. So I don't know if they would have the manpower or want to split it in between two projects, unless it was like, more final stages of a game and then like conceptual stages. Like, if you could do that. How do I know what game design work, goes to, what goes into it? But, so yeah, it's intriguing. Like you said, it's not a big surprise. No shit, Ed, you're working on Mortal Kombat because that's like their bread and butter and they don't do anything else.
Yeah.
The Injustice 3 news last week, hopefully it's something. But yeah, we've been waiting on a new Injustice since 2017. The cycle was going back and forth since Gods Among Us and that first one, and then we skipped, like we mentioned last week, with Mortal Kombat 11 to Mortal Kombat 1. So maybe. We also had a fun comment. You mentioned the TikTok. We had a comment over on TikTok talking about the Injustice series, and I know we had talked about like where's the story go. That would be confusing. They brought up a really good point, or something they could do that would be great. Is there's a new comic line that's been going on over in DC. I believe it's called DCKO, but it's kind of like a multiversal thing, and I guess it spawned the Absolute universe, which I know has been popping off recently.
Okay.
And this is very quick research on me, so if you guys are interested, feel free to go look it up yourself. But at least from when I saw it quick, I was like, oh yeah, this is a nice way. You could keep all the gameplay mechanics. Obviously, you keep the fantasy element with the superheroes of like why they're all matched up against each other, and then you don't have to worry about the Injustice storyline because it's a new storyline. It's fresh, so could go that route. But yeah, time will tell. Either way, excited. I liked Mortal Kombat 1. The DLC was kind of but we'll see.
Yeah, I have been, spoiler alert for the next segment of the podcast, but I have been playing Mortal Kombat 1. So when I saw this news segment, I was like, new Mortal Kombat game, heck yeah, because I'm in a very Mortal Kombat mood right now.
Nice.
So that's very exciting. And I mean, I'm excited for Injustice as well. Don't get me wrong, but something about Mortal Kombat, something about Baraka stabbing people in the chest is really really gets the juices going with the Kenshi and Scorpion and all the great. We'll get into that later, a little bit later. But yeah, new Mortal Kombat game in the works according to Ed Boon. So that's more official than the Injustice 3
Right.
leak, but I think they're probably both in development if I was a betting man.
Mm.
Um, Something that happened this week, which you actually brought to my attention. I'm stealing the story from you, but Starfox Direct happened. Nintendo dropped a Starfox Direct. The game comes out. Oh gosh, it's
June
June
25th.
25th. Thank you. So
Yep.
it's very soon. Very, very soon that they drop this. And it makes sense because I was thinking to myself, when you told me there's a Star Fox Direct, I'm like, but they always do a big Nintendo Direct in June around the time that E3 happens.
Mm.
So why wouldn't they just put it in the June Direct? But this gives it a little more lead time so that they can, advertise for it more, market it for it and stuff. Because yeah, I think they're still probably going to do a direct in June, but it'll be a little too late for Star Fox if they're like, "Hey, this game comes out in like 2 weeks."
Right. Which, I mean, does it need it? Does it need like a lot of time? Maybe no, but it does give it the attention it deserves. Granted, Nintendo really Nintendo'd, and we're like, hey, we got a direct in like 15 minutes, and everybody's like, so
Yeah. Meantime, there are like professional full-time Nintendo news coverers, and even they're like, "What? There's a
Yep.
direct in 11."
Yeah, that
Oh
was
gosh.
funny stumbling upon in Blue Sky. Everybody just being like, red alert! Red alert! It's happening.
Yeah, the whole direct happened. I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah.
That's how like under the radar it flew. Usually there's like at least a day or two lead in time.
Right.
But yeah, Star Fox Direct. It's a game just called Star Fox. No subtitle, no anything with it. It's just called Star Fox. And it is a remake of Star Fox 64 with better graphics, a lot better graphics actually. I think the graphics look incredible. They showed off some of the stages and stuff, and like that tank. If you played Star Fox 64, the tank level with the Landmaster, where you're shooting the train going by, that level looked incredible. The lighting was so good, the rocks and everything. However, I'm a little disappointed that it's Star Fox 64 again, because part of me wants to be like, what can we do in 2026 with a rail shooter? What could a modern day Star Fox look like? And it seems like we'll never know because they're just gonna keep making Star Fox 64 again until I'm 90. I'm gonna be playing the same Star Fox 64 game. Don't get me wrong, I am excited about it. If I had a Switch 2, I would buy it. But it is a little disappointing knowing that it is 64 again because I've played Star Fox 64 so many times, and then they put it on the 3DS, and then I played it so many times again. I've just played that game, and that's not a long game either, by the way. You can beat Star Fox 64 in like 25 minutes. It's
Okay.
really, yeah, it's really the different routes that you take and paths. It's like very replayable.
Gotcha.
But if you're just like golden pathing it or you're just going through, yeah, like half an hour easily you could beat the game. Yeah, so when I say I've played it a lot, I mean like I've played it to death. However, it is one of my favorite games of all time. I usually don't think about it when we're making these lists and stuff, like what's your favorite game of all time? But Star Fox 64 is definitely up there. It's definitely a top 20, top 10 game for me. It's an incredible game. Got me through being sick as a child. I remember they wheeled in while I was in the hospital, they would wheel in a Nintendo 64 with the TV, with the CRT TV. Back in my day, kids, they had these big fat TVs. Yeah, they'd roll in the CRT and they put Star Fox 64 on, and that made the whole experience much better. And it just yeah, a lot of good memories with that game. So definitely excited to replay it, but yeah, a little disappointed, like I said, that it is the same game again. How do you feel about that? Have you played Star Fox 64 before?
Hi. I probably played it once at a buddy's house, like, just visiting or whatever, but in its entirety, no. I would say Smash has been more of my introduction into the Fox universe. Shocker. When they showed the Landmaster in this direct, I got flashbacks from fucking Brawl of Landmaster just dunking on you. I was like, no. So no, I don't have any experience with 64 besides that little tiny little bit. But I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wow, this looks really impressive. And like obviously the characters got a lot of facelifts, and I think everybody looks great. I'd like to ask your opinion on one of them in a moment. But
Is
yeah,
it Slippy?
no, I think Slippy looks great. Think Peppy looks great. Falco looks great. I know the feet thing is a little weird, but why are people focused on his feet? Fox is the only one, in my opinion, I'm like, something looks off. Like, he looks
It's the
good.
eyes.
The eyes? You think it's that?
Yeah, I watched Maximilian Dude watch the direct, and he was like, "Look at these dead eyes," and he just kept panning over it. He's like, "Look, it looks like Starfox. It looks like Fox's when Cloud's dad was murdered, like right now, like yesterday." Spoiler alert: his dad dies before the game starts. But yeah, it's like looks like he was murdered like right in front of him because he just has this blank, expressionless look on his face and his eyes. But I like how they all look. I actually like how Fox looks and stuff too. I know a lot of people, especially if you can go on Twitter or something,
Oh, sure.
they're not the happiest about the character redesigns. I think the character redesigns look great. I think the visuals and everything look fantastic in the game. Like I said, I think it looks incredible, and I'm actually really jealous of you that you've never played 64 because for you, for all intents and purposes, this is a new Star Fox game for you. So like you were in for a real treat because it is probably one of the best rail shooters of all time. Panzer Dragoon 2 might be slightly better, but Star Fox 64 is pretty good. It's up there. Also,
Yeah.
what was that game? Was it Sin and Punishment? Was that is that the Wii game? I'm gonna look that up now.
Sounds familiar. I'm not sure. Where's Jake
That
on
was
the
also a
court
better
with
rail
you?
shooter because you could move a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Sin and Punishment. They made a 64 one. That was cool because it was like a rail shooter, but then you have a little character on the very bottom of the screen,
Okay.
and you can move them left to right, so you can dodge the shots a little bit more. Whereas in the ship is like a little bit more, like in Star Fox, a little more locked into place.
Sure.
But yeah, Sin and Punishment's great. Anyway, Star Fox 64 is great. I'm jealous that you get to play it for the first time.
Yeah. Do you think maybe this is like a stepping stone to see like obviously he was in the movie as they showed here, and they showed the whole scene of his like introduction.
Yeah.
Which, quick tangent on the art side, I wouldn't have minded if we went more that animated route of like his intro and stuff if the game was focused on that, but I still like this one.
Yeah.
Do you think like with that and this re-release, maybe they're trying to test the waters to see if there's enough of a hype for Star Fox to potentially make a new one? Because I feel like they did this with another franchise too, where they're like, here's an old one first and then a new one. Maybe it was Metroid. I could be way off. Maybe
Yeah,
not
I think they
Nintendo
did that with
directly.
with Metroid on the 3DS. They did Samus Returns, which was a remake of Metroid 2, I believe.
Okay.
And then when that did really well, then they did their own Metroid game on the 3DS, which I'm blanking on the name now. It might be, so I can't remember. Anyway, that kind of revitalized the 2D Metroid franchise when Samus Returns came out, and it received critical acclaim, and it sold very well. So I think once that happened, they realized they could do more 2D Metroids, and that's how we end up eventually with Metroid Dread, which is arguably one of the best in the series, and I think technically Metroid 4, even though they don't call it that.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, they could be testing the waters here with Star Fox as well. I'm really hoping that's the case. I'm really crossing my fingers, and I might just buy a copy just because I even though I don't have a Switch 2 just to support it. I'm gonna buy 10 copies just so that they make another Star Fox game. But yeah, speaking of which, if you're gonna buy Star Fox, Brett, you will have to pay $60 because you're gonna get physical, because I know you. But if you were gonna buy digital, you can get it for $50.
Okay. I mean,
So I reported on this a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, how Nintendo was going to start pricing games differently based on digital versus physical, and this looks like the first tentpole game to do so.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
See how it goes. I might buy it for you so that Nintendo makes another Star Fox game.
I just meant we'll see in the physical side. Like, obviously, it's very nice, but there's only so much shelf space.
I just wanted to make a new Star Fox game. Gosh darn it.
I understand.
Oh, I will say they are adding in a multiplayer game
Yeah, I did
into
see
Star
that.
Fox. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Online multiplayer. So that's something new. That's interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I will definitely be keeping my eyes on Star Fox though, and see. And also it could be just trying to pad out the first half of 2026 with Switch games, where it's like we could put out a Star Fox 64 game pretty quickly,
Mhm.
because the game's already there. We just have to remake it with the good graphics and stuff, which I mean, I know that's complicated and difficult as well, but just saying development time relative to
Yeah,
gaming
I'm sure it
is a
helps a
much
little bit.
shorter.
Yeah, because you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, there's this. Let's follow that instead of thinking of a whole new thing from scratch. That's the phrase.
Yeah, because watching I've played Star Fox 64 so much that just watching the trailer clips, I'm like, oh yeah, there's that from that level. It's exactly the same thing. That's the exact same thing. That boss is the exact same. So yeah, it's literally the exact same game.
Mhm.
So that should help with development time a little bit. But that's enough about Star Fox. Speaking of the Switch 2, though, the Switch 2 port of 007 First Light gets an update.
Hmm.
In response to the game business I guess that's a publication, to the game business asking if 007 First Light's Nintendo Switch 2 port was following in the footsteps of the ill-fated Borderlands 4 Switch 2 port, which was delayed indefinitely. Hakan Arbrock had this to say: "It's running on the Switch 2. We just want to make sure it's good as it can be. I don't want to hear it wasn't a good version. To be completely honest, we need a bit more time to get it where we want it to be. We said summer. It's probably going to be late summer, but we're going to get it out. Bond has a special place on Nintendo, and I promise I will do everything I can, and I can do quite a lot being the CEO, to get that in great shape."
Okay, good for you,
So
buddy.
he's flexing, yeah,
Roll up a
flexing his
chair.
muscles a little bit,
Start
yeah.
programming.
Yeah, yes. I don't see Steve Jobs back there making the iPhone, so you gotta get back there and start writing some code, my guy. I need you specifically to make sure that his jacket doesn't clip into his
Right.
pants when he's running, something minuscule like that. But yeah, he says they're dedicated to getting First Light working on the Switch too, and I do believe him. I think they are actually going to try to, because it's a big market, the Switch too.
Mhm.
There's a lot of games you could sell on the Switch too. So yeah, a lot of copies, I should say. So yeah, I'm optimistic. I think first of all, 007 First Light looks incredible. They were showing off. They not were showing off, but they were allowing people to get their hands on a preview build last week. And so I've been watching a lot of people talk about their preview builds and stuff. I don't want to report on that in this, but just is positive. It's very positive,
Mhm.
the preview builds. So I'm really excited for the game, and I'm really excited for it to be on Switch too, because like he says, it does have a special place on Nintendo with GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and all those games. So I know Perfect Dark's not James Bond, but it's close enough.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, that's great. Um, and like I said, hopefully it doesn't fall into the Borderlands 4
Yeah.
trap. That's my main hope, because said I potentially want to switch to. So we'll see. Um, and then on a positive, keeping it positive, just 20 days after launch, Pragmata has sold 2 million copies in 20 days. So yay, new IP. Also, yay, Capcom. I think this is great. This should incentivize them to make more creative new IPs and things and take risks. And also, it just goes to show Capcom has been, knocking it out of the park for the last like 6 years. And it just goes to show that they're like, we're just gonna dedicate ourselves to making good single player games that are, like 20 hours or less,
Mhm.
and people will respond to that. And I think that they have been responding to it. Clearly, with Pragmata selling 2 million copies, people are really responding to it, and it's got a unique gameplay twist. So
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, Capcom's been killing it, and I feel like obviously Capcom's huge, so they probably have multitude of teams in there. But thinking about it, like they're hitting, they're knocking it out of the park, both single player side and multiplayer side. Like they're hitting a lot of facets of the game industry. You obviously have like
yeah,
Pragmata and Resident Evil and more single player stuff, and then you have Monster Hunter World, or sorry, not World, but Monster Hunter in general is like huge multiplayer
hmm
wise, and then obviously Street Fighter, where it may not have been in the highs that it has been in the past, but like it's still doing very well. Evo Japan,
yeah,
I think, just happened maybe a week ago or this week even. So yeah, things are happening for Capcom. Shocker.
yeah. Street Fighter is definitely still like a tentpole of the fighting game community.
Oh yeah.
So, which is great. You love to see it. And speaking of Capcom, I'll just skip to this next story here, which is Resident Evil Requiem gets its update that we were talking about. And it is Leon Must Die Forever. It's available now as a free update for Resident Evil Requiem. Unlocked by completing the story, this additional minigame mode challenges you to clear numerous stages as Leon while unlocking exclusive enhancer abilities. The fast-paced action is distinct from the main story mode and is packed with replay value. Can you make it to the end alive and defeat the boss within the time limit? Multiple difficulty levels are available, including an extreme high difficulty mode for only the most confident players. True to the title, you'll die forever.
Poor Leon.
Poor Leon. But yeah, so not Mercenaries mode. It was not what was released, which we all were anticipating. It's Leon Must Die Forever. I don't know how I feel about this until I get my hands on this mode.
Sure.
I guess it is available. Yeah, it says available now, so
Yep.
I haven't tried it before the podcast, but I did update my game.
Nice.
So I'll have to go back in and give it a shot, and maybe by next podcast I can talk about how it plays. But yeah, that's exciting. Does that make you want to jump back into Resident Evil Requiem, or are you still kind of done with it?
Maybe, but it's a very slim chance. Yeah, I saw this first, I believe, on TikTok, and I was like, "Is this fake?" And then I was like, "Oh no, they dropped it. Cool." So yeah, I mean, cool, nice little shadow drop. Yeah, dropped yesterday, I believe. So yeah, looks neat. I'm surprised it's not the mercenary modes, but it seems like it's got kind of elements of it. Just more maybe time based. Question mark.
No, Mercenaries is very time based.
Oopsie. Well, I don't know then. Looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks cool. I wish I had more to say about it, but yeah, it just looks cool and it's out now. So definitely give it a check it out if you've played Resident Evil Requiem in the past and you enjoyed it like I did. I really enjoyed the gameplay. So anything that can extend that game, it looks like I even started a second time. So anything to extend that gameplay loop is pretty good. And I will say I always wish there was a little bit more Leon in the game. So that makes me happy that there's a little bit more Leon to go with, even though I do like Grace's sections. I just wish there was more Leon. I don't want to cut into the Grace section. I just want more Leon.
I gotcha.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of the Switch 2 3 stories ago, I really get this out of order here. This is a little behind the scenes. This is the pitfalls of throwing everything in a Word document and hoping for the best. Yeah. But rumors of an Ocarina of Time remake for the Switch 2 begin to circulate. Rumors about the Ocarina of Time remake started heating up in March, thanks to Nate the Hate. On his podcast, the leaker claimed that Ocarina of Time remake is one of Nintendo's big games this year. During the discussion, he also mentioned a summer release window for Splatoon Raiders, and that a new Starfox game was in development. A July 23 release date for Splatoon Raiders was officially confirmed a few weeks later, and Starfox has now officially been announced for Nintendo Switch 2. So it seems like he's pretty on the money. Again, Ocarina of Time, I've played that game to death. So it is also one of the best games of all time. I would be interested to see how they would redo it, though. Like, are they going to update the controls? Are they going to update the gameplay at all? Like, is it gonna be like fully action gameplay at this point, or how would an Ocarina of Time remake even do? Because like on the 3DS, they kind of just enhance the visuals and call it a day. But in this one, it looks like it's, he's talking about a full-scale remake. So is this going to be like a Resident Evil 4 situation, or Resident Evil 2 for that matter, like those styles of remakes? Or is it going to be more like the Dead Space remake, which is good, but also kind of just the same thing?
Sure. Do you think there's game play aspects or elements that haven't aged well?
The Z targeting aged well, because now every game uses, like, you can thank Z targeting in Ocarina of Time for like even Dark Souls stuff, being able to lock onto an enemy and the camera, follows them like that. So that has aged really well, but maybe some of the combat hasn't aged the best. Maybe some of the physics based and some of the, I mean, I guess the puzzles aren't really physics based, but you know what I mean. Like some of the older systems could use a revamp for sure.
Okay.
I can't think of any specific game, because that game is so solid. I can't really think of any specific gameplay parts. Maybe just some of the emptiness in the open world aspect of it, because when you're going through Hyrule Fields and stuff, it's pretty barren unless you're at nighttime and those little zombie things come out, which are terrifying and scared me as a child. But yeah, I don't know what they can improve. I don't know what they would do with this, honestly. Would they like update Link's visual style too, a la Star Fox, or like what,
Yeah.
There's a lot they could do. And I'm wondering if this is also to pad the time because it's going to be a while before the sequel to oh gosh, what was it? Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
Before the sequel to Tears of the Kingdom comes out, if they even do a sequel, you know, I mean, it could be
Sure.
like a different thing, but like in that engine or that style of game before they do that next style of games, I think they will continue Zelda into that style of game. But it just those games take so long to make. They're so incredibly difficult to make. So
Yeah, I like you said, buying time. This could follow right in the footsteps of Star Fox, where the groundwork is there. We can work on the visuals of it, make it really impressive or more up to date, stuff like that. Um, Improve the open world sections, like you said, and take what they've learned from Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, whoosh, and fill the emptiness of those open worlds, or even just modify them a little bit, kind of get the best of both worlds. And then from the Star Fox Direct, they talked about the Nintendo 64 peripheral that you can buy for your Switch, and like you can play the whole game with that. So maybe this is another avenue of like, we want to push more of these controller sales. Oh, you can play with the N64 controller. I don't know. So maybe.
that's a good point. And if it seems like the Switch 2 is becoming like a Nintendo 64 remake platform, and if that's the case, please, Nintendo devs, please make Super Smash Bros. 64
Oh,
remake.
jeez.
Everybody wants a new Super Smash Bros. Just troll them with the 64 remake where there's like 10 characters.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, this person didn't make it. Oh, this. Oh boy.
It's like, yeah, there's 10 characters, okay, and yeah.
No, they should launch with the OG 64 roster, and then you have to unlock everybody else.
Wait, isn't that what they did with Ultimate? Or you had to unlock like almost everybody?
They probably did, and I'm probably being dumb, but like that was like you could do this. Yeah, because you could do the spirit mode, you could do your normal matches, things like that. Yeah, that's a good point. But you gotta start with 8. I don't remember how many you started with in Ultimate.
Yeah, I can't remember if the final roster of 64 is 8, 10, or 12. I can't remember, but I know it's in that range.
Yeah, because let's see, you unlocked Luigi, you unlocked Ness, you unlocked oh, of course my mind goes blank. Luigi.
Yes. Ness.
Jigglypuff.
True, you did have to unlock Jigglypuff, yeah.
Oh, this could be a quiz question. Shoot. There's gotta
Mr.
be some
Game
Falcon.
and Watch.
No, Game and Watch is melee. Was Falcon?
No, Falcon's also melee.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's just Star Fox in the original.
Huh. Well, somebody will shout at us later, but you had a few to unlock.
Okay, now I'm just gonna. How many
new challenger approaches?
characters in Smash 64? It's probably 10, right? Oh, it's 12. Okay. So yeah, give me a remake of Super Smash Bros. 64, and you can only play as those 12 characters. Just make them like really complex control scheme wise, like really detailed, really complex, and just give me those 12 characters again, and I'll be happy.
Sure.
And then I can use my 64 peripheral again.
Yeah.
I'll be pleased as punch. They have 64 digital games, right, on the Switch too.
I want to say yes, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what the 64 controller is for.
Because they have Stadium. They have Stadium on there, so there's at least that. And Snap? May have Snap?
Give me a remake of Pokemon Stadium, actually.
Yes, please.
I lied about 64. Yeah.
And those mini games, I want more of the mini games than the Battler.
The stupid Chauncey.
Stupid! Oh, catching those eggs. Boom, 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 boom. I told you about my favorite game, right? The count and the Pokemon as they're running by, and the computers always go bing, 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 bing. And you're like, they're done.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Who knows what Nintendo's doing right now? They're in a weird spot. They're not even going to announce their second half of the year until their June Direct. So we don't even know what's going to be the hot Nintendo game to buy for Christmas. We don't even know yet. So
right. Arms 2.
We'll have to have that. Yeah. Arms 3. They just skip it like Windows 10.
And send a fucking Goat Simulator.
Yeah. Wait, Goat Simulator did that?
Yeah, there was no Goat Sim 2. It was just Goat Sim and Goat Sim 3.
Goat Sim 3. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't really have a good transition for this, but the Steam controller came out.
It did.
It came out, it released, and it sold out within 30 minutes.
Yep.
So remember how I was like, well, there's no RAM in the Steam controllers, so they should be good. Boy, was I wrong, because I wanted to buy one of these controllers, and I haven't been able to. They're out of stock.
I think a second wave went out or something, because I did see somebody after the first day where they have one now. So just keep your eyes and ears open. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, it's $100. I just wanted to throw that out there, which is I know controllers are pretty expensive. Like the Switch 2 Pro controller is like $80.
Sounds right.
Yeah, it's like 80. It's either 70, 80, or $90, which is a wide it's a wide swath, but it's a lot. It's more than a game for sure. And yeah, and I know the Xbox like Elite controller or whatever is also very expensive. It's like $120, I want to say, or something.
Yeah, and you get all the extra doodads with that one, so, grain of salt there. If you're getting the extra stuff, yeah, it's going to be extra, but yeah.
Still, yeah, $100 for a controller is pretty steep. I know it has all the fancy doodads on it, so.
Sure, but yeah, like you said, you're going to be using it for everything, so makes sense. Still hurts, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, still looking forward to trying it out myself. I want to get my hands on it because, like I said, my favorite controller of all time is the Switch 1 Pro controller. So I have a weird taste in controllers. So maybe this will align with me. This will jive with me for sure. And my last piece of news, I believe, is it's my last piece of news. According to allegedly data mined information, Arc Raiders' next batch of major updates will introduce some of the most requested features, including clans and trading, along with a new map called Frozen Trail. Developer Embark Studios has yet to officially reveal the rest of its 2026 roadmap. Its a previous roadmap had 4, I believe, major DLCs, and they've already completed those 4. However, the player base for Arc Raiders continues to be high, continues to be a very active community. So it really wouldn't surprise me if they added another map. The clans thing would be huge, though. I really would like them to add clans into the game. I think that would be really cool. I don't know how they can implement it, but maybe you get like certain points for your clan while you go and do missions and stuff, and then you can add people and everything. I don't know. It's really cool. And trading is would be huge as well because there are some like really rare crafting components that you get that seem kind of randomized. So I don't know if they are randomized or if they're just hard to find, but maybe you have a rare crafting component for something that you don't need. And somebody has a rare crafting component for something that you do need. You could trade those components and both make out like bandits. So that would be very beneficial for the game and the community at large.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah, and that's all I have for news. What about you, Brett? What do you have for news this week?
Hi, welcome to Brett's lightning round of news corner because he doesn't have a lot of details. Let's start with a weird one because I don't have an article, so I apologize on details. GameStop owner apparently wants to buy eBay. With what money, we all ask. Yeah. Seems like an odd thing. I kind of get where he's coming from in terms of like businessman, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he has the funds for it. The long-term GameStop over by me, I noticed the other day, is closed. That's how often I went over there. Yeah, I don't think that's actually going to happen, but I just thought that was worth a chuckle and bring it up. So.
For a second, you said the owner of GameStop, right? Wants to
the
buy
CEO
eBay.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought you meant an owner.
No, yeah, my local GameStop's owner wants to buy eBay. I'm really feet to the ground. I'm on the floor reporting news on a local level. Isn't that what this show's for?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, that is for with what money we all ask is the correct response because I don't know how he's going to do that, but
yeah, I think he went on some news program and they were interviewing him and they're like, so this is what your company's worth. This is what the sale is. Where's the rest of the money come in? And he never like gave a clear answer. He's just like, whatever. It's like, all right, cool, dude.
eBay has to be worth more money than GameStop.
Yeah, I think it's in the triple digits. And his is in the 2, so I don't know. Anywho, that was a fun laugh. Let's talk about a game I highlighted last week, Dead as Disco. Dead as Disco launched in early access on the 5th of May, and they have already sold 100,000 units in its first 48 hours. So congrats to that team.
Wow.
For the early access sales. Been seeing more clips on it. Probably my algorithm being like, hey, you talked about this thing. Now here's everything. I'm like, okay, hold on. But congrats to the team. I believe it's $17, $18 to get early access. So if you're interested in that and beating up some baddies, join in on the fun over there. Speaking of Steam, this is more of a recommendation of a game for you, TJ, and our audience. Thought you guys might want to know about a game coming out in Q2 of this year, allegedly. It is called Box Room. I'd like to shout out the team over at No Small Games. Go support them. They have a lovely podcast talking about indie games. But Box Room, this is the description from Steam itself. Box Room allows you to design, define, and decorate a room, a sanctuary, for your Steam library, and then revel in the organization of your game collection. So obviously Steam games are all digital and you usually don't get boxes with those. So this is a way you can literally just decorate with your Steam collection. And if you're like TJ, you have hundreds of games on your Steam collection and catalog. So I just thought this would be nice for people to know about. You could take the games and sort them out. You can also make posters based on screenshots of in-game moments and decorate to your heart's content. So yeah, just wanted to put that out for people.
If the stream chugs a little bit in this part of the podcast, it's only because I'm currently downloading the demo for Box Room.
Hell yeah. So yeah, demo out now. It even says on the Steam page coming soon to early access. So yeah, make sure you go wishlist and keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's incredible. I watched. Okay, the demo's downloaded, so we we survived. But yeah, I saw some of the screenshots and I immediately was like, you can put posters on the wall and stuff too of your favorite games. Like it's just gonna be an Elden Ring themed room, but it's okay. It's
very nice. Let's jump on over to fighting games. I talked about EVO earlier. EVO Japan did happen, and we got more of a reveal for Marvel Tokan, and 2 new characters dropped. We have Hulk, which is kind of sporting a Savage Lands look, and we have the reveal of Black Panther, but it is Shuri as Black Panther. So those 2 characters are joining the roster. We got some gameplay of them joining the team, joining the roster, as I said. They look great. Apparently, and this could just be the internet being the internet, people speculating, there's a lot of rumors of who's going to be around for the rest of the roster. Makes sense. Dr. Doom is the one who's currently lacking a team as in terms of like their team layouts that they've kind of been hyping up or advertising. So you think it's going to be baddies. The current rumor going around because of a little thing in the trailer, I don't know. I don't want to give it too much of a grace, but Carnage is a top contender in the rumor mill of who is going to show up. EVO USA is happening next month in June, so that will probably be the time that we see at least 2 more of those fighters. The game, I believe, launches in August, so we are nearing release date, and we still have, I believe, 6 characters to be revealed, so we're going to be picking up steam with this game. I'm getting more excited. I don't think I'm as excited as I was, but that's more of like, as we talked about last week with Injustice, how far am I going to go in this game in terms of a single player experience? Like, while the multiplayer of the beta was fun, oh boy, like all fighting games, it's a learning curve. So looking forward to it. I'm still stoked that Arc Arc System is making it. And I can see they got a good pedigree. So it should be a solid running game nonetheless.
Do you know if Marvel Tokan is going to be crossplay?
I believe the beta was, but I don't know for sure. I don't want to say without being 100%.
Okay. It's crossplay, but only between PS5 and Steam.
Look at that. Okay.
We did it. Because I was going to say, the only way that I could really enjoy this game in an extensive way, because of the lack of single player content that I imagine is going to be in the game. This is not another Realm Studios we're talking about here.
Right.
I feel like the only way I could enjoy that is if I had a friend to play with. So like we could play each other and that would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
But yeah, playing online might not be the most fun.
Sure.
So I'm glad there's crossplay. I could still get something out of the game with that. And also I just wanted to say with the Savage Lands Hulk and the Shuri Black Panther, I like that they're kind of taking these twists on these characters and stuff. They're not doing like the most expected thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe instead of Venom, they do have Carnage. I feel like that would fit in the theme of the game. And also Carnage would have a drastically different moveset than Venom. You know, he's got the blade hands and the axes
Yeah.
and stuff. So you could do a lot more interesting stuff with that. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how crazy they're going to get with these last couple reveals. I think we only have a few oddballs, excuse me, currently with, I don't say Magic as like she's an oddball, but in terms of like the rosters of the past of the lineage of the Marvel vs. Capcoms, for example, the Marvel superheroes, Magic's never been a part of it. And then you have the Danger Room. She's just called Danger. Like she's
called
probably
Danger.
Yeah, she's probably the most out there pick so far. So I hope they got to be building up to some exciting reveals towards the end, I would think. Obviously the villain component leads to a little bit of that excitement, but I hope they go crazy with it. I don't know who to me would be like, "Oh shit, it's happening." Maybe a Loki, but that's, bias. I'd love to see like a goblin or a surfer, but I don't know how you would implement the flying aspect of the glider and the board. Like I know Silver Surfer was like a huge rumored character for Marvel 3, and they were like, yeah, we couldn't figure it out, so we didn't go with it. I'm like, damn. So I think, those would be probably the ones I would be like, oh shit, it's happening. Like that's really cool in comparison to others.
Yeah, I feel like for Doctor Doom's team with villains, I feel like we're gonna get a reveal of Shuma Gorath.
Tentacle Man.
Yeah, the tentacle star from Doctor Strange.
Yep.
But no, I have no idea who they could add because we've already had the likes of Shuma Gorath and Dormammu and stuff like that in previous Marvel fighting games. So and Thanos, very prominently in Marvel too. So it'd be interesting to see where they go. Yeah, the bubbles, which they add in Infinity War, which is great. But yeah, I wonder if they'll do Loki. I feel like would be a really cool thing with the scepter. We got to give him the scepter.
Sure.
But yeah.
All right, I got two more pieces of news. This next one is a bit of a bummer, so I do apologize. We were talking a lot about Switch 2 with your news today. Switch 2, unfortunately, is getting a price hike come September 1st. It is going up $50 in the States. Other places, you have to look. It was listed, but I don't know. So yeah, if you've been looking out for a Switch 2, maybe you gotta jump on that. But unfortunately, it happened. We talked about how they're like, oh, it's not gonna be upped, but unfortunately, it seems like the time has come. And yeah, Switch 2 will be getting a little bit more expensive come September.
Bummer.
Yeah. All right, the last one for me, the main event, as some people would call it, I alluded to last week. A spoiler-free / light spoiler review of Mortal Kombat 2. I saved this at the end for a reason, because we have timestamps. So if you don't want to know anything about this movie, please hop over to the next section. We'll see you over there. Okay, love you, bye. All right, TJ, Mortal Kombat 2. You missed me singing, that's all. All right. Generic thoughts on Mortal Kombat 2 from seeing it last night. Oof. Unfortunately, you're right, good sir, to feel trepidatious with this film. It's not awful. It's not a Borderlands level. It's not I'm going to walk out of the theater level. It is a lot of head scratching of like, that's an odd choice. Why are we doing this? How did this feel like the right move to make? So I adjusted my sentiment of last week where I was like, no spoilers. I'm just going to give like generic, good, bad, whatever. And I've modified it, as you've probably heard, to light spoilers. Because there's things I want to talk about, and I don't think they're being talked about enough. Because leading into this, I saw good reviews. Like IGN gave this movie an 8, and I was like, oh, cool, great. I don't know what they were smoking, because this was not an 8 great. This was like a 5, a 4. I think the biggest problem I have with this movie, it's not any of the performances from the actors. The actors all did a phenomenal job. I think they committed to what they were doing, and they performed well to what the characters are. I think this movie, the biggest problem this movie has is pacing. So the movie opens up, I'm not going to say specifics. The movie opens up and we get a good opening intro to a movie, as movies do. Establish this character, here's backstory, here's their motivation, right? Cool, great. Then it's like, okay, if my foot is on a gas pedal, we're going to go to 50 from that like slow buildup of 10. We're going to go to 50. Okay, here's this person from the last movie, and we're doing this thing, and this thing's going on. Catch you up after a 5-year gap since the first movie of 2021. Okay, great. And then we go, ooh, and we take the foot off the gas, and we're back at 0. It's like, here's this new character, and here's an intro to them, and why their character motivation is. And you're like, okay, fine. And then they go, oh, fuck. And they go full gas, 100 miles per hour, foot pedal down. And they're like, oh, yeah, we have a tournament. And they go, pa, 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 pa. And here's another fight. Pa, 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 pa. And then, oh, my God, this thing happened. What? Like, I was so baffled, TJ. I thought I didn't sleep much the day before. So I thought, did I fall asleep in the movie theater? Because I felt like I blinked and like, oh my God, we jumped to this big thing, this big conflict. And I'm like, what? Like how a 3-act structure happens. Like you do the establishing in act 1. You do like, oh, some problems in act 2, some, stuff. And then you kind of get that cliff-ish hanger at act 2 where like something really bad happened. And then at the act 3, like the heroes rally together, the hero's journey, yada yada, success, woohoo. And we hit that like oh shit moment like super early in the movie, and I'm like, oh, what? And then it slowed down again, and then it picked back up, and I'm like, I am so confused right now. So pacing was this movie's biggest hurdle. I also think it was trying to do too much. Like, there's a lot of characters, obviously, in Mortal Kombat. It felt like not many got the shine or, like, their time to grow, connect with the audience. Like, the characters of the first movie are literally just here. I think Sonya is probably the one that gets the most screen time. She's like the level-headed person who's introducing Johnny to the fucked up shit that's going on, right? Mm-hmm. Jax is just there. He has his arms now. Great. Liu Kang is really good, but he's like, yeah. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or the Artemis in the room that keeps shouting. Let's talk about Cole. Yes. This is the biggest spoiler, folks, so please hop a minute. We all hated Cole. I thought it was fine, but I get it. TJ, they solved your problem. They said, oh, you don't like Cole? Fuck Cole. Cole's in the tournament. Cole has a good fight with Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn has a cheat code. I'm not going to say what that cheat code is at this moment. Cole?
Oh, they kill him?
They kill him. He technically wins. They give him a moment to shine. The fight's good. Uh-huh. But because of said cheat code, Shao Kahn beats the shit out of him, takes his big hammer, and goes, patink, and then,
wow.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. I literally put my hands up in the air and went, the fuck was that? Like, they just totally were like, nah, okay, whoop, we're just going to erase that Band-Aid. they changed some stuff up from the first movie to this one. One being that aspect, as we're out of the spoiler area. Another was like how they explained the champions. Like they had that weird tattoo birthmark thing they explained in the first movie. Don't even touch it in this one. They don't give a fuck about it. God. This movie, like, once again, it wasn't bad. Like, I think if they just changed some things around and made a better traditional 3-act story, this could have been like, I had a good time with it. Like, it's not going to break the bank of like, whoa, it's the best story in cinema ever, but like, it would have been fine. I think Carl Urban as Johnny Cage won me over in the end, but I wasn't a big fan of him at the beginning. I was just like,
I was to ask you how his performance was in particular, because he always seems like Johnny Cage is his own character and Carl Urban is his own character, and I feel like Carl Urban is he plays Carl Urban most of the time, so it's kind of hard to shoehorn him into Johnny Cage.
Yeah, he did okay. Like I said, he won me over in the end, but it was a struggle bus to get the ball rolling. I have 2 highlights of this movie. And there's no spoilers from here because everything was in the trailer, so don't yell at me if you're still watching the spoiler section I already warned you about. The highlights of this movie: Noob Saibot looks amazing and is amazing. All of his stuff looked badass. The second thing, Liu Kang and Kung Lao's fight in the tournament, chef's kiss. They did a phenomenal job. There's a lot of fun Easter eggs throughout this movie. One Ed Boon, also showed off in the trailer, is in the movie as a bartender. I got a chuckle out of that. There's game references and a lot of things like, you did that, or unfortunately, no characters, at least to my knowledge, that were like unannounced. So nothing on that breath. But yeah, overall, I did walk out disappointed, or like feeling down of like, I just don't know what they were thinking in that writer's room or production room of like, yeah, we feel good about this. Let's put our stamp on it, you know? It's just like, I don't know. I felt really bummed. And maybe that's just me going in with a higher expectation of like being a Mortal Kombat fan, knowing the lineage. Like I would be interested to know generic audience how they feel about this. But also I'm seeing some other Mortal Kombat creators who like know way more than me. And like they really liked it. And I'm like, what? How? Like it just, there's a disconnect somewhere. So all in all, no, I wouldn't give it a recommend to go see it in the theaters. If it like, you know, comes to your streaming service of choice and you want to kill some time, I would say yes at that point. Go watch it, because it's not bad. It's just very weird feeling. So yeah. Do you have any questions?
Well, I do want to see some cool fight scenes, and it sounds like they did Noob Saibot correctly, which is cool because he's very cinematic, and you could make him look very cool if he did it correctly. And hopefully his headdress is cooler than the one that he has in Mortal Kombat 1, because I do not like the headdress in Mortal Kombat 1 that he has.
Does he have the hood?
He's got the hood, but it's like a weird hat thing that like comes out on the sides. I don't know. I changed it. You can change your character's appearance in Mortal Kombat 1, so I just changed the cowl in general.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it kind of disappoints me to hear that, because I feel like, not of all video games, but of video games, Mortal Kombat should be an easy home run for a movie, because of the way NetherRealm does the just play Mortal Kombat 9 and honestly put that on screen. That's a movie. I mean, let Ed Boon I don't know who does the story of the video games, but like the video game stories are always really good.
Yeah.
Like surprisingly so. I'm playing through the story of Mortal Kombat 1 right now, and I'm like really impressed on how good it is. Especially the first half when you're like slowly revealing the what's actually going on and stuff. Like it's really cool. So kind of disappoints me that they can't get the Mortal Kombat movie right, this first one, or what sounds like the second one, when they have such strong source material to go off of.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to MCU it like everything tries to be now, but I almost wonder if it would be more beneficial to go character by character. And like, at least,
Mm.
because like I said, in this one, you don't feel those heartstring moments of like, why should I care about somebody? Like, I'm not gonna, like I said, light spoilers. I gave my one spoiler about Redacted. I'm not gonna say anything else. But there's moments in this movie where things happen, events occur, no shit. And you're like, okay, that was a choice. Like, to me, I'm over there like, what are we doing? But like, to anybody watching, I'm like, do you care? You know, do you care about insert individual here? Like, I don't know if it would have been better to separate it a little bit more, but that's hard to do because then it's a long-term investment you're asking for people. And while the MCU we're a big fan of, a lot of people have gotten burned out on it, and that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that way with DC, and that's isn't supposed to be a Marvel versus DC thing, but like even with that, I guess my burnout has carried over from Marvel to DC, where I'm like, I don't really care. Yes, the Superwoman movie looks great, and no, this isn't a misogynist thing, but I'm like, do I want to build a thing with her? Lobo looks cool. She looks great. I don't want to deal with the crypto story because if it goes sideways, I'm going to, be a wreck. But like, like I don't want to build all this stuff. So to then be like, whoa, well, maybe they should do that in Mortal Kombat. I don't know if that would have been the right move. It's just maybe they should have taken, here's our cast of characters and been like, even if it was the cast of Mortal Kombat 1 with Cole included, just stick with those guys. These are our champions. Boom. Don't add anybody else. Don't shoehorn anybody. Or if you need to, one person. You had one fucking person in here. Like you add Johnny in. Okay, cool. People did like him. But don't add this, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, because Mortal Kombat has a very large cast of characters, and in the more recent games like 11 and 1 and X and stuff, we're talking 20, 30 characters that you can choose from. So it's like, you don't have to put all those people in the movie, though.
No.
You really don't.
Yeah, and the benefit of the game is obviously you can take 8 hours and you spending like hour chunks with specific characters. So you're like, all right, I'm Jax. I get to know about your family history. I get to know why you're going through your struggles and whatnot. And like you said, with Mortal Kombat 9, that's essentially a retelling of the first 3 games. So you're getting like, okay, this is this lore. This is what changed from this lore, blah, 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 and all that. So it's like, yeah, just bit of a bummer. But there's my Mortal Kombat 2 review. I hope you guys enjoyed sticking around. And thanks for chilling with me. What'd you think of the movie if you saw it? Let me know. Maybe not down in the comments, but somewhere. Let me know. Welcome back, everybody. Mortal Kombat was redacted. We're going into our next section called What You Been Playing, Man? So TJ, make me happy. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple of games. I'll just rattle them all off here. The first one I did start Jedi Fallen Order, which I said I was going to do. In our last podcast episode with our future game, I was like, I'm going to play Jedi Fallen Order, and I got lost, and did not have a good time. So I'm currently not playing that game. I played it for like 45 minutes and was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I was not having fun. So bounce off of that, unfortunately. Did play more Elden Ring. I know everybody's going to be the month of Elden Ring. I started the DLC with my original character, because even though I'm on New Game plus 5, plus 6, it only goes to plus 7, but
only.
Yeah, it only goes to plus 7, but I think I'm on 5 or 6. I never made it to New Game plus 7. Maybe that'll be my next endeavor. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna go through, because I do feel a little bad that I beat the final boss with the summon. So now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna beat it with the mirror, with the mimics here, like I did Melania. I beat Melania with just the mimics here, so now I have to beat the redacted final boss of Elden Ring, which yeah, again, huge spoiler, because just play the DLC. It's great if you play the main game. But yeah, so my main character now, I have 2 Melania swords, because it's New Game plus 5. So I've killed Melania twice and I've gotten her sword. And man, I just tore my way all the way through to the final boss. Got to the final boss, got my ass kicked a bunch, and was like, well, that'll just be a challenge that I'll have off in the distance. I'm not going to do that right now. So Mike actually started a new character. He started a Faith Dexterity character. So I started a Faith Dexterity character, and now I'm using like fencing swords and stuff and shields, which is a weapon type that I've never used before. So that's been pretty fun and interesting. I'm grinding currently for I think it's called the Sun Realm shield, but it's the coolest looking shield in the game because it has like a whole city on the background and it's like multicolored and stuff. It doesn't have very good guard boost, and it takes like 2 hours to grind out because it's like a 1% drop from a certain enemy. And there's only one spot in the game where the two of them will spawn near a side of grace, and you still have to ride your horse up a hill to go kill them, and then go, oh, they didn't drop it. And sometimes they'll drop bone shards, which in Elden Ring and Dark Souls and stuff, when an item is dropped by an enemy, it's just a spear of light that comes up, and then you have to go over and click on it. So you see that spear of light, and you're like, "Oh my God, it's the shield! Finally, it's been 45 minutes. Nope, it's a bone shard," and then you lose your mind. But yeah, so that's currently what I'm doing. I want to get a good shield for the fencing swords because in Elden Ring and I think Dark Souls too, you can hold up the shield and stab with the sword at the same time. So I want to be able to do that, and I want to have the coolest looking shield while I do so. um, but yeah, that's been my Elden Ring journey. Haven't played it anymore. Night Rain, kind of hopped off of Night Rain. I started playing Injustice 2 though, because of we were talking about Injustice 3, and I was like, let me play some Injustice 2. So I fired up Injustice 2, was playing it quite a bit actually. For a second, I thought the multiverse, I forget what it's called, the towers weren't available, but it was just made me replay the tutorials a little bit so I could do that. But yeah, I went through played through the towers and stuff. Had a really good time. Forgot that Black Manta was actually my favorite character because he's like level like 18 or something compared to the other ones. And Black Manta is very fun. You can like do the get over here with like a harpoon gun. You got laser beam eyes, like Kano. Like there's just a lot of cool stuff that's not like Mortal Kombat characters, but also is like Mortal Kombat characters. So he's very cool. He's got a knife too, which is pretty sick. So yeah, I had fun with that. And then there was a midweek a midweek Steam sale on Steam for NetherRealm Studios games, and Mortal Kombat was in there, and there was a bundle. You could get Mortal Kombat XL, Mortal Kombat 11 Definitive Edition, and Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition all together. I already had Mortal Kombat X, so it discounted it even further.
Oh, great.
So I got Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Editions for very, very cheap.
Sweet.
And I've been playing through Mortal Kombat 1. I've actually never played Mortal Kombat 1 outside of us playing together. I've never like owned the game. So playing through the story, even though I have watched you play through the story twice, I think on stream.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm playing it. I'm playing through it myself for the first time and having a lot of fun. But I'm also doing the towers and stuff. And yeah, just chasing that feeling of like getting new gear and items for characters and like cosmetics and stuff. I don't believe they have stat changes in this game. I think it's just cosmetics, but for some reason I still want to chase them. Like Baraka has like different knife arms, and like Kenshi has a different sword and stuff, or they have completely different ones too, where like Kenshi has a different helmet. And stuff like that. And yeah, there's even seasonal rewards. So you get like seasonal coins for playing in the towers. So I was able to go buy, and it's a currency specifically for seasonal items. So I was able to pick up some cool seasonal items as well for some of the characters I was using. So really enjoying Mortal Kombat 1. Hoping to play with you this weekend sometime. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Haven't jumped online at all. Just been playing the single player content, and I think I'll probably only do that, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's really all I've been playing. What have you been playing?
Very cool. Yeah, I'll touch on Injustice 2 just briefly as well, because I did the same thing as we were talking to each other. I've only played a few matches, but yeah, it's just like, the memories are flooding back in of like, yeah, this is great. Makes me want to relearn characters, but I'm also like, do I? You have other things to do, but I wish that was crossplay. We talked about that off podcast. I've been like, damn. Because that definitely would be more fun. But nice to pop it on again. And then I talked to you right after recording last week. I was like, I didn't even talk about the DLC announcements and how hype that shit was. So like I rewatched those videos, and every time just the music, it gets me just goosebumps. I feel it instantly, especially with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reveal. I remember freaking out with that one. Like I'm not even that big of a Turtles fan, but just how they revealed them, the trench coat whipping off and all of them falling down, being in there. I'm just like, oh, this is so, like, even thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, like adrenaline, like I punch a wall just to keep going. Just like, it feels great. So playing that's been fun. And then outside of that, I did jump back into Marvel Rivals a little bit, and that's been fun. I got my first Lord character. It is the Punisher. It's Pew Pew Man. I'm not surprised there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Loki is close. I believe I got him to level 18, so we're getting there. But it was nice jumping back in. I haven't tried any of the new like events that we talked about last week, but it was just jumping in, playing some matches. There's a lot going on since we last played. And they do have a nice little incentive of like, hey, you haven't played in a while. Here's more stuff. So they've given me a bunch of accessory tokens and chrono tokens to be like, yay, you're back. So that's been fun. Looking forward to playing more of that. It's kind of the zone out type of game. But on the other side of things, when you have a negative, folks, sometimes you got to turn it around into a positive. So this week, as a recording, I haven't streamed at all. Had kind of a negative mind space week where feeling down, and I turned it into a positive a little bit. It gave me an opportunity to play some new games, not a whole lot, but the games I did play were fantastic. And I remember if I already said this, so sorry if this is I can't even think of the word right now. Deja vu. Musical week.
Okay.
It's been a very musical week. 2 games came out from the indie side of things. First one being Wax Heads. I might have shouted this out before in a future release. I can't remember.
You did, yeah. It sounds familiar.
Cool. So Wax Heads is a store management game. It's you're managing a record store. You're working the register, and customers will just come up and they'll be like, "Hey, generic description. I'm looking for this record. I can't find it. There's this thing I know about it. Blah blah blah." And you just have to walk around the record shop and try and find the appropriate thing that lines up with what they're looking for. The vibes of this game, immaculate. You have music that's going on in the background, and you unlock more and more from the records that you're selling in the store that you can add to a playlist and have going around. All of the different characters of either the customers or the employees that you meet all have lovely personalities. And are very cool to talk with. There's an overarching story of like some family drama that I won't get into too much. But it's a nice balance of like, there's a really good narrative here, and then it's just a fun vibe of running the record shop. I wouldn't say it's super strenuous of like other management sims where you're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to scan all this. I got to clean this, that, the other thing. It's more puzzle game-ish, where through the customer's clues and descriptions, you have to kind of piece together, like I said, what is the appropriate record here. Sometimes it'll be very obvious where it's like, oh, this new artist just released this thing. I've really been looking forward to it. And you can get that for them. Or in between days, there's like news segments that you watch, like interviews of, program-wise, and you can learn context clues from those interviews. Or you have a cell phone, and via social media or a newsletter that you follow, you can get context clues from that as well. So they may come in and be like, oh, this one reporter was talking about this record, and I don't like that reporter. I'd like to support the artist because I really believe in them. So you got to kind of take those context clues of like, oh shit, okay, what was he talking about? Oh, he was saying he didn't like this. All right, cool. So I want to give him this. There's 2 modes you can play. You can either play where you are trying to solve these puzzles, or there's a mode that's called the customer is always right, where it like takes that guessing work out of it, and it's more direct of like, I would like this, go get that for me. So if that's more your thing where you just want to vibe out, go with that. I wouldn't say the puzzles have been too hard. I think of all the puzzles the game has had or requests that the game has given me, I've only messed up one, and it wasn't even a record choice. It was a more main story type thing. And I guess they'll also like interact with you and be like, no, this isn't what I want. And you can get other opportunities. I did see that there was a trophy where you can force a record after the third try of messing with them. So I don't know if that's tied to a certain game mode or whatever. But then you also get choice yourself. There's one character in specifically, which is your typical Karen or like a mom that doesn't vibe with her kid, where she's like, oh, I don't understand why she wants this type of thing. I would like her to have this record and it's more this. And you're like, okay, you're just trying to shut down what your daughter loves. So for me, I was like, I'm going to get your daughter what she actually wants for her birthday. And you bring it over and the mom's like, are you serious? Okay, yeah, you're probably right. She's probably going to like this one for her birthday a lot more. So that's another level of the puzzle of like, what's the right thing to do in that type of situation. So Waxheads I've absolutely been loving. Definitely recommend that one. It's fantastic. Played that for a few hours. The other one is another one that I recommend for totally different reasons. And that game is Mixtape, which Mixtape I know I've talked about as a future game.
Yes.
I have literally played this game, TJ, probably 30, 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
To say that this game made me feel something special in that small amount of time would somehow be an understatement.
Really?
Yes. Just the way this game is presented, it's very cinematic. It feels like a TV show. It feels like a movie of like how the elements are playing out in front of you in the screen, how the story's being told to you. Essentially, the story is you are playing as this high school student, which I'm sorry, I do forget her name. You play as her and her two friends, and this is like the last day or last night of high school before you guys are kind of going on your separate journeys. Your main character is going away to college in New York City, which is far away. And this is your last night with them. And you go through like essentially kind of mini games or mini little sections where you're kind of reminiscing and playing memories of these great times with your friends, where you're looking back nostalgically. And while there's a lot of sentiment and excitement and energy there, it kind of almost has that like fantasy vibe of like, if you remember something in the highest of highs, it might not be exactly how it went down, but it's like it gives you that rush of good feelings, those happy memories, the bonding that you had, those essential experiences, and it's just euphoric to you. So, for example, I had one, and this is early on in the game, so I'm not going to say it's a spoiler, but obviously, skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want anything. There's an event where they reminisce about a party they went to, and they got drunk, and the cops show up to this party, and they are like, oh, we got to run. So you saw it in the trailers, but you're all on the shopping cart, and you're like running away from the cops. So you're like Tokyo drifting around the streets in this shopping cart, and just all these cop cars are chasing you, and a helicopter comes in, and you're all like, wow. Oh, we got to run. Like, it's just that goofiness. But all these missions are also set to known tracks that like fit so well to the memories that these kids are having, and you get to live through their experiences and feel like you're a part of it. It's just been a magical time. I'm absolutely loving it. This is a highly, highly recommended game for me, for people to check out. I believe it's $20 right now. I don't know how long of an experience it is, but I think for what you're paying, that it's definitely worth your dollar. A lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to jumping back into this weekend, and maybe I'll have finished it at that point and talk about it further next week. But they crushed it. The developers did say one thing of like, because there was a little bit of flack of like, there's no streamer friendly mode because it is all licensed music. And I think what they said really makes a lot of sense, is like, hey, we apologize. We understand people want to stream this, but the music is integral to this story. It is so important to the story we're trying to tell and the feelings and emotions that are going on that we couldn't have replaced it. We couldn't have put anything else in there. Like it's that key of an aspect to the story. And so far it feels that way. So yeah, those are the two big ones that I want to give a shout out to. So whether you want this emotional coming of age tale and Mixtape, or you want the chill ass vibes with a fun dramatic narrative in Waxheads, indies are killing it this month, and it's only going to continue, which is the scary part. So yeah,
no, those both sound really good. I actually remembered that I forgot a game. So I wanted to shout that out. Speaking of indie games, it's called Death Roads Tournaments.
Okay.
Death Roads Tournament is a roguelike deck builder game, which I know before everybody goes boo roguelike deck builder. It is different because you're driving like a Mad Max style car, and you're driving it down the road, and there's like 3 lanes that you have with the car, and the cards that you play actually move your positioning on the road. So you can get gear shift cards and shift up your car and make it go faster. You can get cards that make it turn and things, or attack cards that like drop bombs behind you or shoot in front of you and stuff. So it's just really cool. And you have a steering like percentage or like meter as well, where if you get too many hits from the rear or the side or whatever, you will spin out, and the spin out will be like it randomly draws these cards where it shows which direction you go. So you might end up crashing into a wall a couple times and taking a lot of damage, or crashing into an enemy car. So it's really cool and creative. I've never seen a roguelike deck builder quite like this. I've never seen a card game, or like a card game like this either. It's this really cool marriage of these two extreme death, like Twisted Metal style car races, but also with a card game in store. So really enjoyed that. I only played it for about 2 hours maybe. So I haven't like unlocked all the characters or all the cards and stuff like that, but I know there are multiple cars and characters that you can unlock. So yeah, just a very cool game. I just wanted to shout that out because I forgot about it, and I wanted to give it its flowers because it's a very fun game. And if that sounds interesting at all, definitely give it a look. It's on sale right now, I believe. I got it for pretty cheap, so it was 100% worth it because I want to keep playing it. I want to play it again, and maybe it'll replace Slay the Spire. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I don't know if it's going to be that good, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good so far.
Very cool.
I just wanted to throw that in the indie games showcase that we were talking about.
Yeah. Nice. A lot of good stuff going on. Glad to hear it. So, let's jump into our next topic. It is our mystery section, or as this week's topic is, fan comment or fan topic of the week. Woohoo! So, shout out to Papa Griff. Appreciate you putting your your topic subject in the comment section down below. If anybody else has anything you'd like us to talk about, put it in the comments and we will get back to it at a future episode. So Papa Griff has asked us 3 questions here. One I would say is more deep than the others, but all 3 good questions nonetheless. So I have summarized Papa Griff's question, so just a heads up there. Wondering if you might explore gaming dynamics and availabilities you now see as an adult versus those you recall as a youth. So question number 1, at your discretion, I'm fully aware of the sensitivities of speaking of such these days as to the dynamics, availabilities, participation of those identifying/living in terms of sex/gender, the genres/types of games most popular, most loved, most niche, etc. First part of this question. As one would generically, or maybe first point of this question, as one who would generically categorize games like Call of Duty as primarily a masculine game, was that the case? The second part of the question, are most shooters, survival, fighters, sports also, did they participate in the same skew as in terms of one side of gaming experiences? He talks about his experience, again, as one male gamer and one son gamer. Are there games out there that would have filled and or do fill today's experiences for more mother-daughter gamers more exclusively, or is my view/experience inadequately aware of a more balanced participation across the board? So, I think this is a good question. I think, obviously, hi, white male, TJ, white male, you got to take this with a grain of salt. I would say, we are definitely more progressive, open, welcoming than, unfortunately, a lot of our counterparts. Ugh, the internet. So, I just want to, when we share our opinions here, like, you got to understand this is coming from one perspective. And this is a question that I feel needs to be answered to various perspectives, because I feel like there's a lot of voices and opinions that would build to this answer, and it's a conversation that needs to be happening and is happening. Don't get me wrong. I don't know where I'm going with this. Voices are important. Listen to diverse audience. Anyway, we can only speak from our experience, and we don't mean to belittle anybody or leave anybody out. If we do, we apologize. I'm going to stop talking for both of us. TJ, do you want to start with this question, or shall I?
I'll go ahead and start it off.
Sure.
Because I think to the crux of his question, especially about Call of Duty and shooters, survivals, fighters games, stuff like that, being more like male centric. I think that was a belief that I also potentially previously held as well, where it's like, oh, well, Call of Duty, gaming's mostly for men, and then Call of Duty's for hyper masculine. But I pulled up some statistics here, and a commonly cited set of statistics from the Entertainment Software Association and industry summary shows that in 2010, about 40% of all gamers were, women gamers, and in 2020, has increased up to 46% of all gamers are women gamers. So we're talking about half of all gamers are women. And you might say, like, oh, were they just playing Animal Crossing? Or no, according to a study that was conducted by, let's see where this is from. 1 second, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can't find the source on this, but it says that around 32% of players for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Warzone 2.0, according to Circana analyst data,
Mm-hmm.
32% of all of the players for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 were actually women players. So that's pretty big. I feel like that, that's a third, and they're making up half of all gamers. I feel like, yeah, it's just a common misconception. I feel like, I guess is what I'm getting at with these statistics, is that it really is a common misconception that, like, oh, women don't play games, or they don't play certain types of games. In my own, anecdotal evidence, it's like I'm coming across the women that I'm befriending and stuff are playing games like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals and things of that. These games that I would consider more hardcore when you're talking about playing in a multiplayer experience and stuff. So I really don't think that reigns true at all. I think women gamers are. I think they play the same games roughly that we play, and they also make up about half the amount of gamers in total. So I think it's just a total misconception, probably hanging on from like the 90s or something.
Sure.
Do you think I'm incorrect in saying that it's a misconception, or
Absolutely.
do you think?
No.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. Yeah, a big thing that I kept coming back to in preparation for this question was I agree where I think it was a lot of us, of our experiences, which makes sense. We're in our own bubble, right? We know what's in our bubble, friends, family, those close to us. Those are the experiences we build off of. So initially that bubble, yeah, you're going to see, oh, shared experiences, me and my friends, predominantly male, we're playing these things. So that's the audience there. And it kind of just, that's what you can go off, is the information you have. But then with the internet growing and expanding to what it is now, like, that took all of our worlds of, here's my bubble, and not pop that bubble, but like the access to people now and the internet as a community, which sounds weird to say, is like so easy. You're seeing people from across the country, other countries, what they love, they experience, and whatever. And it's like expanded to show, no, those audiences, like you said, that misconception isn't there. There's a lot of people out there playing this game, whatever their sex, race, gender is, you know, they're experiencing it. They have a love for it. They have their things they like and dislike. Same with me. I like this. I don't like this, whatever it is. And it's taken everybody and like made it closer together, and it doesn't seem as far. And I would say another comparison to this outside of the internet is, think about it with like nerd culture. Granted, nerd was a word, you know, derogatory at a time, and now it's just more of like, you're passionate and knowledgeable about something, you're nerdy. You could be nerdy about comics, you could be nerdy about sports, you could be nerdy about gardening. It's just something you really, really dig. But in a more grounded thing, I feel like conventions is that same experience where you could go to a comic convention or a video game convention, and that's like, whoa, here's all these like-minded people coming together for the love of whatever, you know, obviously the main topic is. And it just is like, no, there's all these people I can relate to, and it's not as segmented as it once kind of felt, at least in our bubbles.
I'm glad you said that, because that actually reminds me of a good point, actually. I feel like reading also has this stigma where it's like in the opposite direction, where it's like, oh, this is mostly a female-led hobby and activity. And it wasn't until I went to like a book convention where there was authors and stuff that I saw. I was like, whoa, look at all these men who also read, you know? And so that was a big boon. So I feel like it has that common misconception. But then when you go to a convention or something like that and you see all the like-minded people and you're like, oh, it's not like that at all. That's just my bubble. That's in my bubble. You know, you go into a bookstore and you see a lot of the female-led books are like in front and center and stuff because they sell really well and stuff. And so you kind of get into that bubble. So I feel like a lot of the games as well, you know, it's Call of Duty and Mortal Kombat and these like and Gears of War and these hyper masculine things that maybe you think might not appeal to everybody, but ends up actually does appeal to a lot of people. And there's a lot of variety in games in general,
absolutely,
out there for sure.
Yeah. So, and not to say everything's perfect now, because no, it's not. There's still a lot of, you know, good fights that need to be fought for representation. And that's not just games media, that's the world. We don't need to get too far into that. But there's still a lot of things that need to be done and doors that need to be opened, or I don't know where I'm trying to go with this, but there's a lot of areas that the boxes need to be checked. So once again, obviously we can only talk from our experience. I would love to hear from, you know, a wide variety of gamers, whether it's media or just people who play games, of like what their experiences are and what they feel is going on. But I did want to take this moment just to give a few shout outs to some female-led media people and streamers that I follow, who I know cover a lot of bases in terms of what they play, what they enjoy, stuff like that. So I shouted them out earlier, but no small games. Shout out to Kate and Emily over there who do fantastic work. Jill Grote over at the Indie Informer. We have Jenny Wyndham, Janet Garcia, Jessica Cogswell, Lucy James, Cy White. Spexy is a streamer I've watched for a while, and she's hilarious. And then one I've seen more recently on the TikTok side of things, and I kind of looped her in because the Call of Duty side of things. And you could also, for age, Tactical Grandma. She's a fantastic content creator, and she kicks so much ass in Warzone that I've seen from her clips. So I wanted to give her a shout. And obviously this is only a small window into what women are doing in gaming right now. So yeah, please, you know, just look around, see who you can find and connect with, because there's a lot of great people out there who loves games, and it's a fun thing to talk about. TJ, any closing things for that first question?
I think you closed it out really poetically there. I think you did a great job.
Thank you. Moving on to the second question, along the lines of family and or group gaming experiences beyond co-op. Pop Griff says, I'm aware of the Fortnites of the world, Apex Legends, Valorant, Overwatch, and games similar like Fall Guys, Mario Party, Mario Kart, and Jackboxes. And games that kind of take advantage of the online gaming capabilities. Do you sense, excuse me, do you have any sense, I can read, do you have any sense for the draw towards the group experiences versus, say, more traditional solo gaming experiences of old in today's world? That is, who does better as a gaming product per use, and is there a winner in terms of a gaming experiences, solo versus group? TJ, what do you think?
I think they're different. It's just like chocolate and vanilla, you know. It's like different things for, or maybe not even that. It's like ice cream and popcorn, where it's like sometimes you want popcorn, sometimes you want ice cream. I prefer a solo gaming experience myself, but also we talk about gaming burnout a lot on here, and sometimes I don't want to sit through a single player game where I'm trying to pay attention to the story and also the evolving mechanics that they keep throwing at you and the challenges and all this, and read all the lore dumps and get all the collectibles and make sure that I'm upgrading my guns and also my inventory and my armor set. And yeah, it gets to be a lot sometimes. Sometimes the headache. Sometimes you alluded to it earlier when you're talking about Marvel Rivals, where you said, I just want a good turn off your brain game. Sometimes a multiplayer game like that can be a good turn off your brain game. Multiplayer games really can fill that niche in my own personal experiences. Now, I'm not a multiplayer gamer, so I can't really speak to it that much. That's just usually how I do it. But if I was gonna play, you know, Overwatch or Apex Legends or Valorant or something, you know, those do require a little bit more focus. Especially if you're playing like Valorant. Valorant, I know requires. I've tried to play Valorant twice and I got so annihilated that. Also, there's no controller support on PC. I'm gonna keep complaining about that to the end of time. But so I just got absolutely smoked. So yeah, you would have to pay a little bit more attention in a game like that. That's definitely not a turn your brain off game. So by no means are multiplayer games all turn off your brain games. But yeah, also Nintendo always supplies the local multiplayer games. Which is great. Growing up, whenever we would host people at the house, I'd have friends over or family or whatever. I would always, you know, I have a Nintendo, so I'd always be able to whip out. We'd be able to play Wii Bowling or Mario Kart or Super Smash Bros. Or something. So that's always a good bonding thing. And I get to play video games while also spending time with people. So that's a great combination. And yeah, you can do that online nowadays, but I feel like the local multiplayer still is a very strong avenue for multiplayer. And there are some games that do it outside of Nintendo, obviously, like Borderlands, for example, you can do split screen and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I said, I feel like they're just two different experiences for things that you would want. Sometimes you want one, sometimes you want the other. It's for me playing a single player game, I compare playing a single player solo game to like reading a book or watching a movie, just this kind of like solo experience where you're putting forth a little bit of focus and attention and effort into, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes 100% sense. Yeah, I guess it just comes down to a personal thing too of like what you prefer. Like I would say it sounds weird. With age, I've become more like single player focused, and I also think that's just more of a social dynamic. Like as you get older, people are, you know, getting a little farther away. You're not all in your school systems, your neighborhood, stuff like that, and everybody goes their own separate ways with their lives. So it's a little harder to get, especially the local co-op stuff or local multiplayer stuff. And I think that's why I resonate or enjoy Extra Life so much. It feels like days of old. We're just getting people together, we're all playing, we're all sharing a laugh, things of that nature, like you said. And it's a little bit harder to come by that. Now, with the online experience, obviously that makes it easier of we don't have to be in the same room. And that's where I really appreciate it, because like if I do play a game like Marvel Rivals, we've played many hours together. That's always a blast. The times that I've played Peak, many laughs there and shared, whether it's Peak, Gartic Phone, Among Us, a game I'm going to talk about in the future that I hope will play with people. Like I always really, really enjoy those experiences. They just don't happen as much as the single player stuff. Duh, makes sense. You don't have to set up as much in terms of a single player. So I don't know if there's necessarily one that's better. It's just kind of, like you said, whatever kind of resonates with you at the moment of like, what do you need? What kind of mental area are you in of like, what am I looking for? Do I want to hunt down people in Arc Raiders and kind of just laugh it up? Cool, I'll do this. Or do I want to focus on a God of War and see what Kratos is going through and that story and these characters? It's really depends on the mindset. I would say from a marketing standpoint, see, I would lean towards the multiplayer being stronger, but I don't know. I like, if you talk like video games, what are people going to bring up? Call of Duty, at least was the prevalent one. Same with Halo, but Halo's might have seen its day. Who knows? Like, yeah. I would say those ones are probably more of like the general public will bring up in terms of games in comparison to your God of Wars, the indie titles we've talked about. Like, I don't know how many people are going to be like, oh yeah, Ghost of Tsushima right off the bat. Like, I would think more of a Zelda would be a more general audience.
A devil's advocate, a good counter to that, though, would be Grand Theft Auto, which is, I mean, yes, it has the multiplayer aspect, but it is a single player game primarily, and that game is like permeated pop culture to the point where I think it would be referenced alongside of Call of Duty, honestly.
That's fair. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if there's a winner in terms of that. Well, you said gaming experience. So for me, I guess it just fluctuates. It depends on what you're looking for. It's also depends on, once again, going back to the bubble conversation, where you're looking. Like, in my circles online, I feel like there's a lot of single player focus. Like, oh, I love this single player experience. I love this. There's still people playing those multiplayer things, but a lot of people in my circles talk about their experiences in their single player experiences. Wait, I just said the same thing twice. Whatever. Those journeys in single player games. I'm talking too much.
I wanted to make another personal comment about single player versus multiplayer games, where, as in, like, to use another book analogy, because that's what we're doing today. A lot of book creators on TikTok and stuff will set up, they'll be like, this is what I'm going to read next month. You know, it's the month of May right now. So like, this is what I'm going to read in the month of June. This is what I'm going to read in the month of August. And I could never do that because I'm such a mood reader where I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to want to read. And I'm going to pick up a different book. I'm going to find a different book halfway through the month that I've never heard of before. And I'm going to read that instead. And I'm going to abandon this other book. And that's just how I read. But that's also how I consume video games. I feel like multiplayer games they require consistency to a certain extent. A lot of them require a lot of your time to build up your levels and stuff like that and your gear. And if you're playing with friends, they often want to play the same games, you know, be consistency. And I don't have that type of consistency in my entertainment consumption at all. Like, I don't know what I'm going to want to play. You've been listening to this podcast, hopefully, and you notice that outside of Elden Ring that I've shouted out the last 3 weeks, it's a different game that I'm bringing every week. I'm like, I was playing this game, I was playing that game, because I just don't really know. That's why half of these, what games are you going to play in the future? I'm like, I sure hope I get around to that, but honestly, who knows? Because I don't know what mood I'm going to be in. So I feel like that's another caveat or aspect of multiplayer games where they do require a little bit of consistency. Like, you know, if you're going to subscribe to a World of Warcraft subscription, like, you're going to need to play it for a decent amount and not only play it for like 3 hours and then bounce off to Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, good call. Moving on to Poppergriff's third question. How about in terms of age? While I feel my gaming experience was greatly enhanced by exposure to games via the Sun dynamic, I feel like youth gaming, per recollection, was greatly centered around Pokemon, Mario, and various movie franchises like Batman, Spider-Man, Harry Potter, and Star Wars, plus Lego versions, all those. Is the market for today's youth still anchored to those reliables, the IPs, or are there substantial offerings in the marketplace for those consumers? This is an interesting question. It's a tough one because, I don't know, I feel old. I don't know what the youth wants. Like, obviously we have younger cousins and we talk to them about like what they're playing, and shout out Freckle Boy. Fortnite.
It's a lot of Fortnite.
It's a lot of Fortnite. Like, nothing wrong with that. Fortnite seems to, I mean, obviously encapsulate a lot of us in the 10 years that it's been going strong. And it seems like it's an interesting one with Fortnite. It's like a very interesting case because Fortnite for a game obviously captured a lot of us, but what brings people back over and over again? It's IP. It's all this skin's here, all this skin, whether it's a Star Wars, whether it's a anime, whether it's a random TV show like The Office has skins now. I don't know why. Those things keep bringing you back because you want to be part of that and have that skin and show off your cool stuff. So that's an interesting case. But outside of that, I know Roblox is huge for kids. I think it's still huge. But could I tell you what a Roblox is? No. I think it's like very creative mini games. And then I talked to the president of the company. Sometimes she brings her son in, and I talk to him about games, and I'm like, so what are you playing? And he's like, oh, well, Zelda's like the only one I recognize. And then he's talking about like, oh, this cat battling one, and I'm like, what? Sure, cool, great. You know, I'm happy you're having a great time. I don't know what the fuck that is. So it's tough to say. I would say Fortnite and Roblox are like the biggest two I can think of from a kid's perspective. But I also feel like maybe more mobile games are more kind of connecting with kids or things on their iPads. I know that's a running joke of like iPad kids and whatever, but that's tough. I don't know. I would feel like IPs would still be the driving force because it's like, oh, I know that superhero from the movie I watch or the TV show I watch, or Pokemon is like, oh, cool, I have these toys. Yeah, I want the game. I would think that resonates more because there's more connective tissue for a kid instead of, hey, sport, have you heard about, shit, of course I try and bring up something. Have you heard about this raccoon who steals from people? His name is Sly Cooper. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know if that would click. TJ, what do you got?
I think yeah, I think I can only go off of my own experiences as well. My boss also brings in her children to work sometimes, and I think they are 9 and 5, if I'm not mistaken, and they're playing a lot of Roblox. They love Roblox. Of course, they only have an iPad at the moment. I think the 9-year-old also has a Switch Lite, and he was playing Minecraft on the Switch Lite. So I want to shout out Minecraft as well. Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox are like the holy trinity of like youth games. Yeah, it's the Triforce of youth games, I feel like. But Roblox is like less of a game and more of a platform, like you said, of like mini games. Like other people make games and then put it on the Roblox platform, or they make it in Roblox. I'm not really sure about how that works. But I was like playing on the iPad with them. Like she was like walking me through the the levels and stuff and being like, which one should I choose? And she had this list of all these different games. And I was like, oh, pick this one because it's got Sonic the Hedgehog in it, and I recognize that, you know. But yeah, so there is that. It's definitely Roblox. Definitely want to shout that out. But also, yeah, when I was a kid, I blindly chose games based off of IP. Like, let's be real. I was playing a lot of Star Wars games and Lord of the Rings games and Batman games and stuff like that that maybe didn't deserve my attention. I could have been playing other games, better games. Occasionally, you would hit upon like that Lord of the Rings GBA game, which was like a Diablo clone. You would get like an actual game out of that, or the Lord of the Rings Two Tower GameCube game.
Yep.
You would get a gem like that every once in a while, but most of the time you're playing Shrek 2.
Yep.
And you're not having a
Finding
good time.
Nemo, The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these games that aren't great. So I feel like if kids are anything like you know, like when I was a kid, they're probably still buying stuff based off of IPs. However, I will say they have a lot better prospects these days, because now when you buy a Spider-Man game, it's going to be like, so, you know, Insomniac Spider-Man, and it's going to be an incredible like 10 out of 10 game. So you're really going to get your money's worth. I feel like they really have upped the quality of these IP type of games. I haven't like walked down the shovelware aisle of the Switch and like started playing started playing Moana 2, the live action version with The Rock in it. I haven't done that to myself, but yeah, I think on the whole, a lot of these IPs like Batman and stuff have really the quality of their games have improved quite a lot, and especially Papa Griff shouts it out, but the Lego games in particular, those are solid games. Those are still fun games. and they're great for kids because there's nothing bad in them, and they're very family friendly, and you can play it together with there's just more of that local co-op that we were talking about before. You can play it with your kid, maybe help them get unstuck, because sometimes some of the puzzles are a little tricky even for an adult. Yeah. So you can kind of help your kid out with that. But yeah, that's what I think it's probably primarily based off of IP. But again, if you're buying, like he shouts out Harry Potter, if you're buying a Harry Potter game, you might be buying Hogwarts Legacy instead of, like, Harry Potter 4 on the PlayStation 2 with the weird graphics and stuff. So, like, I think kids are in for a better time these days.
Sure. Very nice. I'd like to highlight one thing just on a personal note from his question here, where he said, I feel my gaming experience was greatly enhanced by exposure to games via Sun and hopefully this podcast. I just want to highlight that's a personal goal for me with this podcast, and something I really appreciate from podcasts I listen to is that's a big goal here is I just want to help share games. And I know there's stuff even with TJ and I where we've shared stuff and it's like, oh, I had no idea about this game. That sounds really, really cool. And that's just something I enjoy, is talking with people about games, and maybe it's an indie that they didn't know about, or maybe it's just a shared experience with a more AAA defined game that people, or it's kind of in the zeitgeist that we get to share about and talk about our experiences. That's what I really enjoy about this podcast experience. Talking with TJ each and every week, and talking with you guys through the camera and earbuds of like, oh, these are the cool things. I just really appreciate being able to do that and hopefully share those things with the audience as well, of like, cool stuff, go check it out. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick, selfishly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one last closing comment from Papa Griff. I hope I have conveyed my topic request with appropriate sensitivity, and apologize if I have not. Think you were A-okay. In either case, I hope you will consider this as a topic for a future pod. Keep them coming. They are excellent watches. Thank you, sir, for your topic. And yeah, I think these were all fantastic questions. Once again, thank you for submitting. Anybody who's listening or watching, like I said before, if you ever have a topic of discussion that you like TJ and I to focus on, feel free to put it down in the comment section down below, and we'll try and get to it at a future episode. But that is going to wrap up our mystery section for this week. So once again, appreciate the viewer topic. Let's jump into our last topic, sadly. Look into the future. TJ, what are you looking forward to playing next?
Well, there was an Activision sale going on in Steam, so a lot of Steam sales going on in this episode. But I pulled up a game there that I've never played. It's on one of the greatest games of all time list, and that's gonna be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Fuck yeah, brother!
I finally pulled the trigger on that, so I'll be playing that this weekend. I know I just talked about how I don't know what mood I'm gonna be in or whatever. I'm gonna be in the mood for some skateboarding. I'm gonna try out these games. I feel like even if I just pop in to check them out, I have heard that 3 and 4 is better, but I've never played any of them, so I feel like I want to start on 1 and 2 and go from there.
Yeah, I think that's a personal preference. Like, granted, I have a little bit more of a nostalgia factor with 2, because that was the one I played at friends' houses. I think I like the maps more in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is solid, don't get me wrong, but I think 1 and 2 are a little better. I don't know, that's me.
Okay, well, I'm in for a treat then. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited. I'll probably start with the first one and go from there. But from what I can see, you can create your own skateboarder and stuff, so that's pretty cool.
You can do that and create a skate park, which they have that. The nice thing with these remasters, which Activision did a fantastic job with, by the way, you can hop back and forth between the two freely. So if you hit a point where you're like, I'm really stuck on this task of 1, you could jump over to 2. It's totally fine. And there's no narrative or story element. So you're not going to be like, what's going on with Tony now? No, you'll be fine. I'm curious from a selfish standpoint if there's crossplay. I doubt it, but we'll have to look into that at some point.
If by at some point, do you mean right this second?
Well, I was going to look after the podcast.
I doubt no, it's this important. It would be a lot better though if I could type faster. But
another thing, I would have to re-download.
It does not feature crossplay.
Balls.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Anywho, for my shout out, I talked about this no, we talked about multiplayer games earlier. This is a multiplayer game. I would like to shout out Crashout Crew. This is from developer and published by Aggro Crab, who I absolutely love. And yeah, there's a whole catalog of their games on Steam you should go check out. Anywho, Crashout Crew. Time to clock in at Denial Shipping, the world's most efficient warehouse. Work together in online co-op with up to 4 players to fulfill orders in increasingly chaotic physics-based boxes. Time is money and safety is no concern. Just try to not crash out. It releases later this month. But yeah, I just want to give a shout to this team because Aggro Crab has been killing it lately with Peak, and they did earlier with Another Crab's Treasure, which is a Souls-like. TJ, you should play that one. That's fantastic. And I also just absolutely love their social media team. They do a fantastic job with their videos and their presentation. Very comical, very like self-deprecating humor and stuff like that. But I just really love this team. And this seems like a fun game that I look forward to playing with friends. Kind of reminds me of Overcooked and the chaotic nature of that. Of like, we need this over here. Gosh. We got to do that. But driving the forklifts. So looking forward to this one. And hopefully we can do a stream of it or something and share some laughs. So I wanted to shout out Crashout Crew.
Yeah, I feel like I've made this joke on this podcast before already, but it's like, I don't know if you've seen Scary Movie 3, I want to say.
Okay.
When everyone makes fun of World of Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Where he gets off his job from working on a dock moving storage containers or like the whatever those containers, and he's like, man, I'm just so sick of my job. And then he goes into a bar and he plays an arcade claw machine where it's moving the containers still. So I feel like somebody out there has got to be a forklift driver, and they're gonna come and be like, let me play Crashout Crew and play more forklift driving.
Yeah, that reminds me, there's a great indie game called Sticky Business. And it's just a sticker game where you design stickers, you put them on the sticker sheets, you pack them and ship them. And I played the demo for it at some Steam Next Fest. I'm like, oh, this is great. But this is exactly what I do at work. I can't play this. I can't do it. I will recommend you to everybody, but no, this hits too close to home. I can't do it.
Yeah, luckily I have I've only been on a forklift like 4 times, so I can play this game and I'll be A-okay.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, everybody, that's been another episode of the Relatively Gaming Podcast. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today for potentially our longest episode. We'll see. That Justin one still reigns supreme. But yeah, a few things you could do for us if you want to help us out. 1, like the video, if you did, and podcast. Subscribe. Number 3 is a big one. Share it with somebody you think would like it. If you had some laughs here or you got some good game recommendations, just share it with other people who you think might enjoy it. It does help us out with the audience and algorithms and all that jazz, the non-fun stuff. But ultimately, we just want more cool people in here like you. So if you liked it, please support that way any way you can. I mentioned it a few times already, but if you ever have a topic for the show, feel free to put down in the comment section down below, and we will get to it. TJ, as always, thank you so much for recording with me today. Thank you, sir.
Well, you and Artemis, so that counts as 2 people.
That's true. He's napping now, finally. So,
but you're very welcome. Thank you for hosting the episode. That was a fantastic one.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you guys giving us a watch, giving a listen, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.